Shortly after Perturabo had decided that he would fight for Horus during the heresy, word would reach the Lord of Iron that his brother Fulgrim, Primarch of the Emperor's Children Legion, wished to rendezvous with him to discuss something of great importance. Though Fulgrim had yet to reveal the purpose of his visit, he had promised Perturabo that it was something wondrous. Perturabo knew that his brother had a flair for the dramatic and had seen the mountains of Ferrus Manus x Fulgrim fan art, but the Primarch of the Emperor's Children had seemingly gotten far worse ever since he joined the War Master in betraying the Emperor. The Lord of Iron counted none of his fellow Primarch brothers as close to him, as the Phoenicians' strive for perfection in all things had provided common ground between the two superhuman warriors, allowing them to speak as trusted comrades, if not beloved brothers. The Emperor's Children and their Primarch would drop pod to the surface of the planet Perturabo and his legion were on, stunning them with how much they had changed. Gone were the pristine, honorable warriors the Emperor's Children had once been, replaced by gaudy, strange, and depraved-looking creatures. Obviously, Perturabo knew right away that a major, fundamental change had occurred to Fulgrim and his legion, but could not imagine what purpose the disfigurements and degradations its warriors now sported could possibly serve. The two Primarchs would speak within a private compound, with Fulgrim saying he had found a way to make it so Horus and his fellow heretic Primarchs would definitely succeed in overthrowing the Emperor. Though Perturabo was suspicious of his brother's intentions, he believed this joint venture would grant understanding through a common cause. Fulgrim's plan was to head into the largest warp storm in the galaxy and find within it a Xenos weapon known as the Angel Exterminatus, a weapon of such power that the very stars themselves would bend to their will. When the joint fleet of the 3rd and 4th Legions arrived at the outskirts of the stellar maelstrom, the Primarch saw the dark light that had engulfed the worlds within. Phantom images that ghosted in and out of perception, and fleeting moments of reality in a realm where such things were anathema. They saw planets where all reason and certainty had been abandoned, where the physical laws that underpin the galaxy were playthings for lunatic forces beyond mortal comprehension. Before entering the Warp Rift, Perturabo would look at charts of this section of the galaxy and see that the huge tear in reality had been named Cygnus X-1. The Lord of Iron decided that something this powerful and terrible deserved a name to strike fear into the hearts of all who saw it. A name that would freeze the blood of all until the end of time. Perturabo's fingers danced as he changed its name for all the traitor fleets, a name that even the Imperials would call it in time. It was called now and forever, the Eye of Terror. The exact destination of the Iron Warriors and Emperor's Children ships was the lost Eldar world of Idris, one of the legendary Crone worlds that once formed the heart of the ancient Eldar Empire before being consumed by the creation of the Eye of Terror following the birth of the Chaos God Slaanesh, all because the Eldar couldn't keep it in their damn pants. The Primarch's ultimate goal was within their grasp, the Sepulchre of Isha's Doom, which sat at the center of the world. Here was a citadel called, and I'm gonna put the name here in case I butcher it, Amon Nishak Kalis. Fulgrim claimed it was here that the Angel Exterminatus was kept. Before launching a full planetary invasion, the Iron Warriors would do the standard procedure orbital bombardment of the entire area near the drop site, prepping it for their descent onto the surface. Structures that had stood for tens of thousands of years were gone in the blink of an eye. A barren ring now surrounded the citadel, upon which flocks of Thunderhawks, Stormbirds, and Warhawks would land. Thousands of Astartes and hundreds of thousands of mortal warriors would disembark, along with two all-powerful titans of the Legio Mortis. The Iron Warriors immediately set up a ring of defenses, mounting heavy bolters, setting up razor wire, and making minefields, while Perturabo oversaw all from his custom Shadow Sword super heavy tank called the Tormentor, while Fulgrim and his legion did, Emperor's Children stuff, as Fulgrim had given full control of this mission to his brother. It seemed as if the citadel was completely defenseless, but Perturabo was cautious, so he left many of his Iron Warriors to dig in and cover the line of retreat, while all others went into the heart of the ancient Eldar structure. As the two Primarchs walked, Fulgrim grew more and more impatient, constantly bothering his brother to pick up the pace. The Lord of Iron discreetly studied the Phoenician and his sons, only to be silently shocked that Fulgrim and many of his Emperor's Children Astartes seemed to be sweating pure light that was only noticeable to a Primarch's enhanced eyesight. Obviously, this strange radiance had no place in a living being, and Perturabo knew his brother must be aware of it, yet said nothing, which made Perturabo go from trusting him a little to none at all, completely expecting to be betrayed at any moment. Yet the Primarch of the Iron Warriors was dead set on completing the mission he'd already poured resources into. Suddenly, the thousands of crystal statues that surrounded them, which the traitors had assumed were simply decoration, began to move and shift before attacking them en masse as they sensed the presence of Slaanesh worshippers, their most hated foe. These statues were an army of Eldar race, which are machines piloted by the souls of dead Eldar, each one easily the match of an Astartes warrior, and there were tens of thousands of them upon the world. As Perturabo fought for his life, he noticed Fulgrim slip away, so he followed him deep into a cavern-like area of the citadel filled with a bright green light that radiated power. The Lord of Iron realized this was the distilled essence of the many Eldar who had died on this world, and that there was never a weapon called the Angel Exterminatus. Fulgrim confirmed there was no Angel Exterminatus yet, for he was to become that weapon. Perturabo was enraged at being played a fool, so approached his brother, weapon raised, intent on killing his narcissistic sibling. Fulgrim would speak a single word that would ravage Perturabo's mind, causing him to drop his weapon and fall to one knee. The cause of his sudden weakness was due to a gift Fulgrim had given him months ago, a glorious cape cinched with a large gemstone that revealed itself in this moment to have been slowly draining the Lord of Iron's life force. His death would fuel the Phoenicians' apotheosis into daemonhood. The Primarch of the Emperor's Children easily hurled his brother aside, no longer the being he had been when he arrived on the planet, as he now radiated a dull light and floated above the ground. Fulgrim's eyes were pitch black, resembling twin black holes, doorways to heights of sensation the likes of which could only be dreamed by madmen willing to go to any lengths to taste them. Just when Fulgrim was about to become the ultimate pervert, Perturabo used the last of his strength to rise, hoping to see a shred of regret in his brother's eyes, yet saw nothing, stunned that anyone could fall so far from redemption. When the Lord of Iron threw the gemstone draining his life away, a strike team of loyalist Astartes survivors of the Istvan Dropsite massacre would attack both the traitor legions in a desperate attempt to kill the heretic Primarchs. The Magentar stone would land at the feet of a Raven Guard that instinctually knew the gemstone was important to the traitors, so smashed it with a shot from his bolter. The weakened Perturabo's strength rushed back into him, while Fulgrim's body arced in pain, his armor burning off, leaving his monstrously swollen body and you-know-what out, his naked flesh blazing like a furnace. As the Primarch of the Iron Warriors got up, he lifted his warhammer above his head, and Fulgrim saw his own death in his eyes. Perturabo swung his mighty weapon in a wide arc, splitting the Phoenician's body wide open. This, though, had been exactly what Fulgrim had wanted. He released an ear-shattering birth scream, blinding light filling the chamber, a light like a newborn sun, a rebirth in fire, new flesh crafted from the ashes of the old. Through slitted fingers, the survivors of the fighting bore witness to something magnificent and terrible. A figure floated in the midst of the light, and it took Perturabo a moment to understand the impossibility of what he was seeing. It was Fulgrim, naked and pristine, perfect as the day the Emperor had crafted him. Then his flesh became fluid, his form being molded as if by an invisible sculptor. Fulgrim's legs fused together into a serpent's tail, his skin turning into scales. The Phoenician's face was a mask of agonized rapture, a pain endured for the pleasure it promised, like a virgin's first time. 2 obsidian horns erupted from his head, curling back over his skull, leaving his face as unsullied as the most innocent child. Fulgrim had ascended, becoming a prince of the Neverborn, a lord of the ruinous powers, the chosen and beloved champion of Slaanesh. Lifting his divine hands into the air, a curtain of light rose up from the ground, and Fulgrim, along with the Emperor's children, disappeared in a flare of arcane teleportation. The Crone world would then begin to break apart, deprived of its energy, with the Iron Warriors, Perturabo, and a handful of loyalist Astartes barely able to make it off-world, but this meant nothing to Fulgrim, as he was now the first Primarch to become a demon prince. I hope you enjoyed this story. Consider doing all the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.